Hello SCMS staff, this is Stuart here. I just wanted to introduce the first of 3 videos that will highlight what was talked about at the optional ExactPath teacher training that took place on 9/10 and 9/13. This is the first time that I've done something like this, so I'm a little nervous. Hopefully you find some use with all of this information. Again, this is intended for individuals that did not make the ExactPath training, but if you did go to the training and you're still curious about what we're doing, or maybe you missed some information, hopefully you find the information here to be of use. So I just want to start off by a quick overview of what we'll talk about in this series here. Again, there's 3 videos. The first one's going to talk a lot about the teacher view of XP, kind of review your home screen, talk a little bit about how you can drill down when it comes to reports and other things with XP. We'll then talk a little bit about the student view, and then wrap up with just an overview of expectations, kind of like where we will be. And I have where we will be next week. I'm recording this on 9/11 of 19, so who knows how long this video is going to be around for. But this is again the startup of our pilot of ExactPath, and I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page as far as what the expectations are as we move forward here in the beginning. So we'll start off by talking about the teacher view of ExactPath. And if you recall, we all had quite a bit of training here, that 4 hours of the training with Demo Daryl, if you remember, back on Tuesday of in-service week. And so most of you should be able to, by this time, hopefully have signed into ExactPath through Edmentum. If you haven't done that yet, just a reminder, I'll sign out here and just quick show you. The login.edmentum.com. Our account name is SCMS1. You have your username and password. I'm not going to go into detail on that, but if you need help getting that information, I can grab that for you. But once you log in, you'll be brought up to the ExactPath home, and your home screen should look something like this. This page right here, this home screen, is a fantastic page for you, especially when our students start going through their learning path, that will highlight for you any students that might be struggling. You can highlight, it'll tell you students that maybe had failed some type of quiz, or failed some type of progress check. So this screen will be very useful to individuals who are just looking for just an overview of what students might be struggling. This notifications page is fantastic for that. So the other space that you want to make sure that you're aware of as we go through is once you click on the individual math or reading tabs, and I'll just use math for this example. A lot of great information on here. The 2 that you're going to primarily focus on are both the knowledge map and the current activities. So we'll start off by looking at the knowledge map, and what this piece of information does, as you'll see, make sure you have your correct class here. For the sake of this group in this video, I chose to use Laura Milkey's her Hawk Time group to kind of demonstrate this. So what's cool about ExactPath is that you're able to see with this key right here, the status legend, all of your students, and kind of follow through to see what they're working on, where they've tested. The green is where the students have assessed above the standards. Again, all of the standards are broken down into different grade levels. And so what ExactPath will do after the student does their diagnostic, it will place them on a learning path. And from that learning path, those students will be assigned activities. The activities they're assigned are in blue. To kind of keep it simple, the program looks at where is the student lowest, what grade level are they lowest at, and they assign that information to them first. So what's neat about this is as you go through and you move forward, you can start to see where some of your students maybe have similar things that they're working on. All right, and you can start to think about how you want to group them if you're a math or ELA teacher throughout the course of the week. Just a reminder to math and ELA teachers, we haven't covered this yet, but just so everybody here knows, these first couple weeks we're not going to stress out too much about having that small group instruction. We want to give people an opportunity to get to know the program first before we start breaking things down from a small group standpoint. So again, that's the knowledge map. Just to go back here and show everybody, the other piece is the current activities. So what I like about the current activities page is that if you have a student that's working on something, you're able to look and see, click on that and see exactly what it is that they should be doing or can be doing. It'll tell you maybe if they've already started it. It'll give you an overview of what they have to do for each area. You can see some have like some concepts have 3 things they have to do to complete. Let me find one here that might have more. Of course, I keep on clicking on ones that just have 3. Others have, like this one right here, for example, has, I believe, 6 things that the student needs to be doing. Actually, 9, in order to master this multiplication and division properties piece. Within this piece also, you can look to see what resources are available for you as a teacher. There's extra videos you can assign to kids if you so choose. There's also, if you scroll down here, some information for lesson plan ideas, which is also very handy. I know a lot of staff really thought that was a cool deal when we had the training. So again, all things you can look at and you'll gain confidence in as you work within the program. So that's an overview quickly of the current activities and knowledge map that you can look at from a teaching standpoint. The other things that I want to make sure that we talk about here are grouping, and I'll go back through here. One of the things on your home page that you can do, there's a couple of options for grouping. The first one is, and I think probably the easiest, let me go to the current activities, is to look to see where students maybe have similar things that they're working on. Okay, so you can look at the current activities, see if there are kids that are working on, here again I gotta go back to Laura's class. Multiplication, division, maybe there's a number of kids working on that. There might be a number of kids working on addition and subtraction. So you can start to kind of see some concepts. Another option is to go to the knowledge map, and within the knowledge map you can see in areas of blue what kids are working on the same things at the same time. So again, apologize for all the clicks here for Laura's, to get to Laura's from the demo class, but for example, at the 3rd grade level, right now we have 2 students that are going to be working on the same piece within their path, and actually multiplication division properties is one of those. As we see, there's some similarities here between a number of our students. So we want to try to make sure we utilize that information for our grouping. Again, I'm primarily talking about math and ELA teachers at this point when it comes to how they want to group their students. The other option that we have is on the home screen. I go back to my classes here and click on home. There is a groups piece as well. I found this to be this can be a make sure you click on the right class here. This can be a useful option for you, but what I've found about it is that it's sometimes a little bit tricky in that you have to know the grade level of kids. And so if we have a number of students that maybe are working on addition and subtraction facts in 1st grade or in ones in 2nd grade, you might want to pull those kids together and work with both of them at the same time, even though they're not at the same grade level, for a little preloading maybe, possibly, or maybe just a review of some stuff, kind of seeing where they're going, seeing what they're doing, seeing if you can help. It's not as easy for this grouping feature to do that, to give you those names, because they look primarily at, again, grade level. So let's look at multiplication division properties. So if I do this right here, and I click on this after I look at my map and I want to group some kids, I click on the topic and then the specific standard, and then I click auto group. Okay, I'll click auto group. This is great, fine, blah, blah, blah. And what this will give me is a number of things. So the first thing it will do is it will point out any kids that don't have the thing done yet. They're diagnostic, and that would be, in this case, Jacob DeMoss. This group right here are students that may be tested above, and so they're in the green. They're not going to be at that level. They're above this level. The students in blue are students that are currently working on it. And then the students down here, what I've been able to gather are students that are not at that level yet. So they're working towards this skill level. So keep that in mind as you go through when you're thinking about grouping students, how you want to do things. There are a number of options that you have. Again, for math and ELA teachers primarily we're talking about here, know that you're not expected though in these first couple of weeks when we start up this process to have your individual groups already selected. So just keep that in mind. All right, the next thing I want to talk about here, that's actually the last thing for this video, last couple things here, are when you have your students in your classes, if you click on a class, and you have your current activities, there's a lot of information that's available to you through just clicking on the student. If you look right here, for example, at, let's pick on Julian here. Julian hasn't started anything yet, so you're not going to see what trophies he's earned in math or reading. You'll be able to kind of see what skill level he's at. We talked about that LPEG score. I believe he's right around that 3rd grade level right now. As far as not saying that he shouldn't be, we're not saying that he should be in 3rd grade. What we're saying is that his skill set is assessed. His lowest gap in his skill set is at the 3rd grade level. The other cool thing you can see for Julian is his diagnostic score. So if you're curious what that looks like, you can click on that and it'll show you percentile rank where he's at. You can also see how much time he spent on each question and how things kind of got to where they were. There's also the piece where you can look to see what particular standard, where he's at in particular standards within each domain. So I think that's going to be it for this particular video. Couple things to remind you of though, or just one lesson to remind you of, and I'm not sure from a teaching standpoint if you have this, but whatever you do, if you see this thing reset diagnostic, do not click on that. I know I have some more rights as an administrator, but just in case you can see that there, don't click on that. Again, don't click on reset diagnostic. So if you see reset diagnostic, don't click on it. All right, that's it for this first video. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about reports in the student view, and then we'll wrap up with some other information on kind of where we're going from here. So